welcome to our online webinar on innovative approaches in civil engineering, 3D modeling, road and landscape architecture. Since the outbreak of the 21st century, we have all seen or we are witnessing a very fast innovation in the technological and engineering domains. Today we can see how civil engineering, in particular in our case, is integrated in some technological domain like artificial intelligence, machine learning, and deep learning. But in our case, we are going to see how civil engineering has been integrated into some other technical domain. For example, geospatial engineering or geomatic engineering. Most of the time, this engineering nowadays are being integrated into civil engineering for this technology or this technique are being integrated into civil engineering for precise results. So let's see how the work has been structured. The work has been structured into four parts. The first part, which is a coordinate system, I think it is very important that you as engineers or modern engineers must understand what coordinate system are. Not only understand what coordinate system are, they must know how to utilize this coordinate system to geolocalize, set out or implant engineering structures which range from building roads, railway, in fact all the engineering structures you can think of. So you as a modern engineer, you must understand what coordinate system are and how can they be acquired and how can they be used. So that would be our part one, which we are going to give in a very fast way. We are going to introduce what coordinate system are. Then we try to explain how they can be used in engineering work. When we are done with chapter part one, we are going to move to part two. Part two will be dealing with the landscape 3D modeling. We're going to discuss how we can model the terrain to come up with a three-dimensional perspective of the terrain. And then we are going to see the software, the usable software. We're going to discuss on the usable software. Then when we are done with that, we are going to move to planimetry, road planimetry. We are going to discuss the different mathematics. We are going to discuss first the different parts of roads and the different mathematics formula involved in calculation elements of implantation or elements of setting out of road. Then we are going to see how we can use the Autodesk to come up with the design or with the projection of road. We are going to see how we can discuss Autodesk, Civil 3D, and road. When we are done with that, we are going to move to the last part, which will be altimetry. Altimetry now, we are going to discuss altimetry here means height, XYZ height. We are going to see how we can calculate mostly the volume of earthworks. Then also we are going to see how we can represent the sectional view of the road, like say a road from the starting to the ending, like PK0 maybe to PK1 plus or 5 plus or 10 plus, the kilometer points. The longitudinal, we're going to see how we can represent the longitudinal section, which is we are crossing from the beginning of the road project to the end of the road project, that is north south. And we're also going to see how we can use the Autodesk Civil 3D. We're going to discuss on how we can use Autodesk Civil 3D to come out with the lateral view of the road from east-west, maybe every after 20 meters. So all these element, all these sectional representation during road project are very important to estimate the volume of earthworks that will be involved. So in this course, we are actually talking on we are dealing on three things. We are dealing on basic understanding. We are dealing on the theoretical concept, and we are dealing on the usable software, which in our case is Autodesk Civil 3D. Okay, let us move now to the coordinate system, and so we see the course content. On coordinate system, we are going to define coordinate system. When we are done with the definition, we are going to move to the importance and the application of coordinate system. Then we are going to move to the types of coordinate system, we are going to, on a type of coordinate system, we are going to see the Cartesian coordinate system x, y, z. Then we are going to see the geographic coordinate system lambda phi, that is latitude and longitude. Then we are going to see how coordinate can be calculated, or how they can be acquired using the different device that we are going to present. Then under that coordinate system calculation, we are going to see some terminology like radio signals, GPS, which means global position system. We are going to see tools like working tools like Total Station and Tron. We are going to see another terminology like global navigation satellite system device. What does it mean? Whatever tool is that, we're going to present the image of the tool. Then we're going to see some mathematical formula. We're going to discuss. We're not really going to discuss on it. We're just going to present it. So mathematical formula which are used to calculate coordinate of point based on network of triangles, which is known as triangulation and trilateration. When we are done with that, we are going to discuss on setting out implantation, geolocalization of engineering structures using spatial technique. Spatial or just geospatial technique simply means using their coordinate. We are going to end the course. Actually, we are going to talk on projection. What projections are. We are going to discuss on it. Though we are going to present the three types of projection. We are going to present cylindrical projection, conical projection, azimuthal. Then we are going to discuss on the most important projection which are used in engineering work, which will be the universal transverse method. We are going to talk on this projection first before going to talk on setting out implantation, geolocalization of engineering structures. Okay, let us discuss what coordinate are. General definition: a coordinate system is a mathematical framework used to specify the location of points in a given space through a numerical representation known as coordinate. We know in our early days of the secondary school, we were defining coordinate, and we said, assuming that we have a Cartesian plane, and from a point 0, and we assume that a point located in space within the Cartesian plane, let's call the point A. And in our early day of secondary school, we're saying that this point can be represented numerically using their horizontal, using their horizontal and vertical and intersection. So this point can be represented A using their horizontal and vertical intersection. So if this point is going to intersect here, then we are going to have a coordinate x A and y A. Okay, so these are the coordinates of the point A. So every point on space, or every point on the surface of the earth, is defined by the coordinate x A. So we happen to have another point. Let's see if we happen to have another point here, point B. Of course, there is also a horizontal distance that we are going to take, and a vertical distance we are going to take to have the coordinate x B, y B. Okay. Now, if we want to know the distance between xb and yb, we can use their coordinates to find the distance between xb and yb. So that's the same things in engineering, all the engineering structures, be it road, building, every engineering structures, every point in every engineering structures is defined by its coordinate x, y. If we talk say coordinate x, y, we're actually discussing on planimetric coordinate. The moment we start discussing on what is the height of the point, where is the point placed, because we know that all points on the surface of the earth are not on the same horizontal plane. So we start talking about the altimetry coordinate system. Okay, let's move ahead. Okay, in civil engineering, the coordinate system serves as a crucial tool for accurately defining and managing spatial data related to construction, design, and survey. So we have seen that in civil engineering, coordinate systems serve as a crucial tool to accurately define maybe angles of buildings, angles of structures, etc. Then application of coordinate system in civil engineering. We can use it for geolocalization of engineering structures on the site. If we have a coordinate of a point on the site, after so many years, we can use this coordinate of point to, if we have a coordinate of a point on the site, after several years, we want to geolocalize that point. We just need to enter the coordinate of that point, and it is going to indicate to us where that point is, especially in the engineering works like water work, where we want to find out some specific unit. So, and coordinates are very important in civil engineering because we can use them to utilize them to do some, to implant some complex engineering structures. Yes, just imagine that we have a complex structure like this where we want to implant the structure. We know the traditional method of implantation of certain we usually use our tape and pegs, but those methods are not applied when you are dealing with a very complex engineering structure or a very serious project. Very serious project, you will need to use some other precise technique. You're going to use geometric techniques, which is you're going to deal with coordinate of points. You want to make sure that all those points, all those structures, all the structures to be able to falls on their exact geographic position. For example, if we have structures like this, we want every point to fall there. So we can do a setting out of all the structures before even starting the construction, and then we are going to be sure that every point is on its place. And one most important thing also about using geospatial technology, using coordinate of point for implantation on certain out, is that we are talking how rapid it is. The time we are going to take to set out all these structures using local traditional method of setting out with pegs and tapes, we are going to take like 110 to 120 of that time. Also we talk about the precision. Maybe human errors is involved. Maybe because of maybe cumulative human errors can involve because maybe of cumulative lengthy work. We can likely make some small errors, which we will be obliged to do some rectification, and that will also play on maybe the cost and time consumption. So coordinate and actually is the best method to use when implanting structures like in a very complex and structures. So the same thing when we are dealing with pipeline. These are pipeline, like pipeline project, road project, where we have to set out the alignment, the digging alignment of the trenches. So now, when working with coordinate, we can work on the two opposite sides. I think the civil engineers can work on two opposite sides. They can set out the two opposite sides, work on the opposite side. So at the end of the day, we are not going to, when working with coordinate, at the end of the day, maybe if they want to meet on a point that has been a defined point, let's say point beta, and they won't find themselves not intersecting with each other. You see, yeah, because the coordinate actually gives the exact position where point have to be. So in the field, we go to the field. Let's say we go to the field, we define where the pipeline will pass. We take their coordinate. We start taking coordinate of point. Let's say we start taking coordinate of point XY from the beginning. As we are going, we are taking coordinate of point XY, XY, XY. Then maybe we go to the site. Now maybe we go to the office. Maybe we do the design of the pipeline, and maybe during the course of designing, we decided to maybe change the direction of the pipeline because maybe of some a lot of like maybe mountains or some obstacles like house, all those other things. So we can change the direction on the in the machine, the software. Now we come now to the field to implant the foundation, to implant the digging trench. We can obtain the coordinate from our software and we come and implant some other things. Maybe we can start here. This point beta can be this beta. Some engineers can start from here, from the mountain coming here to this point, while others can start maybe from another point coming to this direction. At the end of the day, they will come and meet on a defined point because coordinates are very, very precise. Unlike if we want to start using our traditional method to set out this trench is going to we're going to find a lot of discrepancy on the way. Okay, so let's move now. We're still talking about the importance and application of coordinate system. We said coordinate system can be used to geometrically represent engineering structures, building layout of road. Okay, let's move to this is another example of application of coordinate system. We have a road here with a complex geometry where we said coordinates can be better used to set out all these infrastructure, these complex infrastructures precisely. Okay, surveying and mapping. Also, in coordinate can be used to create topographic maps. Topographic map, we know what topographic maps are. Topographic maps represent the not only represent points in the field, but also represent the topography. You know, we as you as a civil engineer, you will be obliged if you want to realize a big project or a giant project. You're obliged to know how the topography behaves, the height of point, the height difference between the distinguished points on the site, all those things. So coordinates can help you. Like you see, this is a case of a project we were working in where there was a vast area, it was close to I think 2 hectares, where they wanted to carry out a project on that side, and we were called by the engineer. I was working alongside with an engineer. We had to represent the high difference of point, and all those things were done using we obtained coordinate of the point x, y, z. We not only define where the point is, we also define the altitude on the side. At the end of the day, we were able to realize some contour maps, and this was done using the Autodesk Civil 3D. Also, at the end of the day now, you see at the end of the day when you are working with coordinate system, you can represent the terrain, the three-dimensional view of the terrain, which is here we have an example of a digital elevation model of the terrain. This is another example of the digital elevation model of the terrain, but this one was done using LiDAR, which we are going to talk about that in our next webinar, the different data source. Okay, so we said the coordinate system can be used for boundary surveys. When you have your coordinate system, you can exactly come up with your boundary of the working area. Yes, you see the regional planning of this area. So coordinate. So you can have when you have your coordinate of this point x, y. It can be point A. You have coordinate of this point x, y, point B. At the end of the day, you can link the point. You come up with the exact geometry. Okay, let's go now to types of coordinate system. Yeah, we have talked about the importance and the application of coordinate system. So we are going to deal with the type of coordinate system. We have the geographic coordinate system. The geographic coordinate system with lambda and phi, latitude and longitude. These ones are mostly used. First of all, latitude. We say that latitude is a geographic coordinate that specifies the north-south position of a point on the Earth's surface. Here, they talk about the key aspect. But over time, you are going to read along. So this geographic coordinates are mostly used on scientific work, on scientific project. Then we have another coordinate system. This is just a representation of the longitude and latitude of a point. We are going to move to the system that is always used, or that is used in civil engineering. In civil engineering, we use the coordinate system, the Cartesian coordinate system. And the Cartesian coordinate system is a mathematical framework used to specify a position of point in space. Like we just gave, like we earlier saw the Cartesian coordinate system, where point x, y of a point A and B were being defined. So in civil engineering, we use Cartesian coordinate system, and we say that when we are dealing with two-dimensional view or two-dimensional representation of the terrain, we use x, y, and when we are dealing with 3D, three-dimensional representation of the terrain, we use x, y, and z. Z actually here means the altitude of those points. Okay, this is an example of a Cartesian system. Now, how are coordinate obtained? How are coordinate obtained? Somebody might want to know, somebody might want to ask that coordinate. How then are coordinate obtained? Coordinate are obtained by coordinate are obtained or are given or calculated by satellite, or we have by satellite on space. On our global position system, we have at least 24 satellites orbiting the Earth, and this satellite calculate the coordinate on the surface of the Earth by sending signals to our satellite device using some mathematical formula, network of triangles. When it uses network of triangles, they can calculate their distances are angle apart. Then the signals that will be sent to the surface of the Earth will be collected by their GPS, by the GPS signal device. We are going to see here we have an example of a radio signal from the satellite that has been sent on the surface of the Earth. Then we have RTK drone on the terrain. Yes, this is a special engineering drone on the terrain. RTK means real-time kinematic. So these drones are able to receive signals from the satellite, and they're able now to capture the signal and calculate the coordinate and return the coordinate of point, not only the XY coordinate but also the XY and Z coordinate of point in the field. So these are RTK drones. These are the latest technology which are being used in engineering works when we are dealing with terrain modeling, when we are working with terrain modeling. And most time also, this drone comes with what they call multispectral. Multispectral means we can even use it as far as moist to water work and so on and so forth. I don't want to go there. When we have another webinar, we are going to talk on civil engineering instrument, and we are going to talk on RTK drones. We are going to go into the details. Now, another one now that we have here, we have the GNSS, Global Navigation Satellite System. This one has a very good precision. It is mostly used to obtain directly from the field within seconds. It is called real time. It works in real time. That means in real time we can give you the X, Y, and Z of point. So we use it when we are setting out road. We use it when we are setting out buildings. We use it when we want to define. We use it when we want to define the geometry of the terrain or the plan of the terrain. We use it for earthworks. We use it a lot. Maybe when you are walking along, when you are traveling along the highway, you see engineer using this instrument to collect the data. And the instrument, this is one of the latest. It comes immediately, and the GNSS was developed. After some years, RTK drones were developed. We had drones, but these are RTK drones are specialized drones. Yes, and one good thing about this GNSS is that the precision of this machine goes from 1 centimeter to 3 centimeter. That's the precision of the machine. Okay, let's see another. Okay, we also have in this our modern day we have our phones. Our phones also can be used as a GPS device. If we install the app, we can actually have coordinate of points in the field. But the difference between these our phones and Garmin GPS, the difference between our phone and Garmin GPS is the precision. This one is mainly designed for engineering works. This is designed for engineering work, but this is designed maybe for navigation, where navigation in the regional scale, where high precision is not really considered. And also in cartography, that's map work. If you want to map out a town, or you map out a very big quarter where high precision is not really required. Their error range from plus or minus 3 meters. So if we are looking for a plus or minus 3 meters, that's the error of this our this our device, Garmin GPS phones. That is the error. So if we are looking for a point, if the point is situated at this point O, and in reality, but when we are using our GPS device, it is either we are here, and the distance from here to here is 3 meters. So we can never locate a point. We are always plus or minus 3 meters away from the point. Now we have another instrument here which is known as the total station. We have done with the GNS Global Navigation Satellite System device. We have another instrument which is known as the total station. Now total station before the manufacture of GNSS, we had total station. Actually, total station do not give us coordinate of point. We cannot have coordinate of points with total station, but with total station we can have angles and distance, and we can use the angles and distance if we are to calculate coordinate of point if we have control point. For example, if we say this is a point on the side point A, and this is another point on the side point B, and we have the coordinate XA, YA, and we have the coordinate XB, YB. Okay, let's say we happen to have another point over here, point C. Then this point here, A, B, are control point. Those are known point that whose coordinate are known. We can station the instrument on point A. We can station the instrument on one known point, point B. Take our reference on another known point, point B. Then we take their angular difference here. When we have their angular difference, then we take the distance CB. Knowing the angular distance CB, there's a mathematical formula that permits us now to calculate the coordinate X, C, Y, C, isn't it? Okay. Okay, how are coordinates? Okay, we have discussed how coordinates are calculated. So when we are in the field now, we are working with our global navigation satellite device. We just station it. We wait for some few seconds. Within few seconds, signals will leave. Signals will leave the satellite from space to the device. Then within the inbuilt algorithm, the coordinate will be calculated in a matter of seconds. Okay. We are going to move to the next part. Okay, we are going to talk about coordinate projection in civil engineering. So for so many years now, scientists, engineers have been struggling to define the best figure that best represents the Earth. Scientists have first said we can define the Earth, or the Earth can be best represented geometrically using a geoid. After some years, it was abandoned. And no, the best representation of the Earth is not a geoid. They said no, the best representation of the figure of the Earth is an ellipsoid. It's okay, they're going to use an ellipsoid. It's an ellipsoid. They said they're going to use an ellipsoid as a mathematical figure, or as a figure to best represent the Earth. Then later now they came out now that they discovered that no, the Earth can be best represented using a sphere. So all these projections are just serves in engineering, in complex engineering, or in complex scientific work for precision. So the closer they are to the real representation of the Earth, the better the accuracy we are going to obtain, and when collecting data in the field. So actually, we have the type of projection that we have. We have it's the cylindrical projection, which we are going to use, which we should use to best define the Earth. Then we have another type of projection which is being used to define the Earth. We have the conical projection. We're not going to talk into it. We also have the azimuthal projection, but the most important projection, or the important projection, which in the case of civil engineering or in engineering works, is the universal transverse method, UTM, universal transverse method. This projection is being used in engineering. In this projection, what happens is that the Earth is being divided into a series of imaginary zones. Yes, the earth is being divided into six of imaginary zones. And Cameroon, we can have zone 1, zone 2. Cameroon happens to fall between the zone 32 and zone 33. Yes, so advantage of this projection, it provides high accuracy for small areas, making it ideal for engineering project. Each zone minimizes distortion within its area. So each zone here try to represent the, in fact, each zone here minimizes distortion within its area, and Cameroon happens to be found between zone 32 and zone 33. So if we are working with our satellite system device, the first thing we want to obtain the coordinate of that point is to set out, to make sure that our zones is well set out. If we are in the southwest, northwest, central, littoral, east, yeah, some part of east, west, we are going to be working with the zone 32. But when you start going toward the north, where it's on the north of Cameroon, we are approaching zone 33. So the projection used in Cameroon is UTM zone 32 north. So we are using WGS UTM zone 32 1984. So that is a projection that is used in engineering work, World Geodetic System in 1984, Universal Transfer Mercator Zone 32. So we're going to have time to manipulate the survey instrument. So when we want to manipulate the Global Navigation Satellite System device, not the RTK drone. So but when we want to set up the Global Navigation Satellite System device, we have to make sure that it is being set in this zone, so that it can, in a local environment or local region, it can minimize all distortion. Now another projection that is used in engineering, but this one is used in the United States, is the state plane coordinate system. We're not going to talk about that one. Okay. Here we are talking about setting out implantation or geolocalization of engineering structure using spatial technique. So we earlier said how can we set out engineering structures. Let us assume that we happen to have a site like this. Let's say this is a site that we have surveyed. Yes, this is the geometry of the site, and we happen to have the beacons on the side, what they usually call in layman's term pillar, but those are not pillars, and these are beacons on the side, what they call boundary pillars. These are beacons on the side. On all these beacons, as we have earlier mentioned, we have, for us to come out with the shape of the site, we must have their coordinate. This may be beacon 1, beacon 2, beacon 3, beacon 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So linking all these points, now we're going to come out with the exact size of the area of work and with their dimensions. Now let's say we have a building, we have a soft copy. Let's say we have a soft copy of this site, and we have a building like this. Here we have a building, let's call it B1, and we want to implant this building using geospatial technique. Now we can copy this building. Maybe this one was done was done in AutoCAD. We use AutoCAD, our latest version of AutoCAD, because our AutoCAD permits us to use coordinates to come out with figures. So we use our latest version of AutoCAD to come out with this, and we use another version. You can still the latest version of AutoCAD to come out with this. So these are points with their coordinates. What we are going to do is that we are going to copy this building. We're going to copy this figure. Then we are going to paste this figure here. Okay. Automatically, when it's being pasted, it is being superimposed or overlaid in our working zone. Let's say if we happen to name the angles of the building as point 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, we can now go now. You know that when you're working with your desktop, when you are designing plan, you will notice that on the right hand corner, by default, there's some numbers. As you are moving your mouse, some numbers are changing. So by default, by default, those are the coordinates. Those are the default coordinates. But when we have been set out using our geographic coordinate, our Cartesian coordinate obtained from the field, by default, we are going to see that those numbers are going to change. It's going to give us the exact position in centimeter precision where each beacon is located. So from there also, if we move our mouse towards point, let's say this point 6, if we move our mouse towards point 6, we read down here, we are going to see right down at the left and the right hand corner of the machine, we are going to see the coordinate of point 6. We can write down the coordinate of point 6, write it down, then we can go now to the field. Now we enter the coordinate of point 6 in our global navigation satellite system device. As we are working, it will be telling us that you have 20 meters from the point, you have 5 meters from the point, you have 3 centimeters from the point. The moment we arrive here, it's going to say, okay, that's the point. So we can put a peg here. Same thing when we have entered the coordinate of point 5. It can tell us that we have 15 meters from point 5, 0.5 meter, 1 centimeter. Immediately as we arrive here, we put another point. So we have a peg here, peg here, peg here, peg here, peg here, peg. Then they can now start digging the foundation trenches. In a matter of seconds, in a matter of you can set out building with this using coordinate. You can set out on the buildings in the life in 30 minutes, 20 minutes at most. You can set out buildings, a very big building and complex structures. You can set them up within 15 minutes even, and they start digging their foundation trenches using the defined foundation trench width. So we have already said that we have two types of coordinate system. We have talked about the Cartesian coordinate system and the geographic coordinate system. And we said the Cartesian coordinate system. The Cartesian coordinate system is what we have. What we have as x, y, and z. That is the Cartesian coordinate system. Whereas the geographic coordinate system is what we have as lambda field, latitude and longitude. And we have said we use the Cartesian coordinate system in our engineering project. Okay. Now, of course, now we are talking about how to use coordinates in the field. First of all, we have to establish a base. Yes, that was the earlier explanation we explained, where we can establish base. First of all, we have to identify, not only establish, identify base. Maybe it can be existing beacons on the site whose coordinates are known. Yeah. Then now we can now determine the coordinate of point C using this. And one thing I want to explain is that now this one, we are using all these bases like this base to work because we are using this base to work to calculate distance from here to here, then calculate get the angular distance, then with the distance, linear distance from here to here, and the linear distance from B1 to C, we can now calculate the coordinate of XC and YC. Now, this one is why we are explaining this, because we have different instruments in the field where we can be working with. Now, if we are working with total station, this work we need a base where we're going to station on the base one, take a reference on another base, on another control point. We need a control point where we're going to station on that control point, take another reference on another control point. If we are working with total station, remember I earlier told you that we cannot directly calculate, we cannot directly obtain coordinates from using total station, but we can work on a known base or control point to determine coordinate of point in the site. But if we are working with our GNSS, Global Navigation Satellite System device, the moment we want to have the coordinate of point C, it's just left for us. We do not need the existing control point. We just work here, we station the device there. Within a matter of 10 seconds, of 5 to 10 seconds, we have the coordinate of point C. Same here, we have another point D. We work here, you just work here, place the device on the peg there. Within a matter of 5 to 10 seconds, you have the coordinate. So no matter how the many points on the field, so you can work like in a field, obtain point like hundreds of points within some matter of 20 minutes. Yeah, that's the same thing which is being done when we are doing on the road work. For road work, maybe there can be an existing unplanned road, so they want to use this existing unplanned road, the data of the existing unplanned road, to better come up with the geometric figures that best represent the road, and to come up with the best gradient for the road. So most of the time now, what we use is global navigation system device. Now what will happen is that technicians or the engineers will go on site, collect X, Y, Z of point. Maybe this is the center axis of the of the existing unplanned road. He can collect point X, Y of point, maybe depending on the curvature of the road, the different curves involved to better represent the road. So you can work with interval of maybe 5-10 meters. Remember, the interval depends on the curvature. Some places you will need to work with interval of 3 meters to better represent the curvature. So he's going to collect data on the center axis of the road, X, Y, Z, and he's going to collect data on the lateral section, east-west of the road. So maybe you can decide, depending on what has been specified in the project, he can collect data every 20 meter X, Y, every 20 meter, and he can also collect data like this every maybe 2 meter, depending on the curvature of the road. At the end of the day, now we can now use all this coordinate now to come out to define, maybe to come out with the lateral section of the road. So now we can now study the slope of that road now to see if the slope of that road is good for cars. This is what is known as profile of natural terrain, what we obtain from the field. Now, engineers now can now decide to modify the terrain using the project profile. They can modify it now using project profile. Now you can see come now on the field now. When they modify using project profile, they're going to have new X, Y, and new Z on each point. So you can now come now, you enter all this information now, X, Y, and Z of those points, enter it in the global navigation system device. You can come to the field now and you start implanting. So from there we can know that if we have a point A here, the height of natural ground. So if you have the height of natural ground, what you initially collected. Let's say it was an X. You have your X, you have your Y, you have your Z, which was, let's say, 128.4 meter, and B in let's say 130 meter, and it's okay. We want that, and from A to B, for the slope to from A to B, we want that let the slope be something like 128.4. Then we want to have something like, let's say, from 130 we have to have something like 100 and let's say 126. So you know that there's a digging distance. So this machine or GNS will actually gives us the height of this, and when we dig now, still with our GNS, we can use it to determine if the height has been used. So those are the importance of using coordinate in the field. Yeah. So we earlier said also coordinate can be used for alignment. Okay. So that is a brief and explanation what coordinate system are before we actually get now to the works, because when we'll be working, we'll be talking a lot about coordinate X, Y, Z. So you will now have a brief understanding what coordinate is and how they can be obtained in the field and how they can be used. So see you in our next video, where we'll be talking about landscape architecture, 3D modeling. So just be alert. We are going to reach you. Thank you.